Hello, welcome. I'm Claudia if you're new here, and if you're back, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you coming back more than I could ever express. Today's chores, I'm not so much looking forward to them, but I am looking forward to showing you the plants we're gonna be working with. Today is moss pole themed, so we're gonna top off some moss poles. We are adding a new plant onto a moss pole. It's a new plant for you haven't seen it, but I've had it for quite some time now, and I'll go over the details of why I haven't shown it and stuff with you when we get to that plant. But yeah, we're gonna do some top offs. I think we might need an extension, and I'll spare you with the watering. We're gonna do some watering. We'll spray my DIY pest repellent, and yeah, just get them set up to keep growing. A quick little update on my splendid. It's not quite ready to be chopped yet. The new leaf has started to unfurl, and it looks like it's going to be massive. So I'll give you a sneak peek of that one too. I hope that sounds good to you for today. Let's get started. I decided we're gonna get started by building the moss pole for the new plant, even though we're probably not gonna do that one until the end or very last, just because I don't have a ton of sphagnum moss. I'm running out of supplies, and I wanna make sure that I have enough for that pole before we do top offs. And I do think that we need one extension, at least a little bit. So I'll need a little bit of moss even if I keep most of that extension empty. So anyway, we're gonna build the new one first, just to make sure that I do save enough sphagnum moss for that one, because it is getting to the point where I really just need to get it on a pole before it starts growing anymore. So yeah, so we'll build that pole first. And I think I've decided, just because I have the most of these, that I'm going to, well, no, not just because. The vine can get pretty thick on that plant. So I think I'm gonna do a grow thickly large 3.0, so the front closure ones. And I realize that because it's large, it's going to require more sphagnum moss, but I feel like it's the smart thing to do. And I'm not gonna fill it up all the way. I'm just gonna fill it up enough to where the node is and order more sphagnum moss so that I can add accordingly. So you've seen me build these a lot. They're super easy, snap on. And I like these because they latch every other. So there's room here, like this won't latch, for the roots to get in very easily. But I will just speed this through because it's pretty boring, let's be honest. It just occurred to me that I didn't add any moss in here, and I usually do that before I close them. This is the pot I'm gonna use. I think this is a 5.5 inch, or yeah, this says it's the 5 inch. Ideally, I would have liked to use something just a tiny bit smaller, but that's okay. You'll see the size of the plant. I realize I'm teasing it a ton, and it's probably gonna be like very anticlimactic when you see it, but I'm really excited to finally have added that plant into my collection. By the way, this is all the sphagnum moss that we are working with today, so let's see how far I can stretch this. Okay, so just to about like here, I can start adding moss. Maybe I'll open it so I know. Okay. So how are things going with you? Are you experiencing any fun growth? The growing season is here. I have some pretty exciting plant updates on several plants in both my cabinets, also outside my cabinets, but I think I'm really excited to see in both my cabinets because I was like struggling a little bit with the whole spider mite situation and whatever, so I'm really excited about that. And then some of my anthuriums from Cartel Down, not the most recent, but that I've had like in my cabinet acclimated now for a while, are starting to grow and take shape. So I'm excited to show you what those look like too. Okay, this is probably all of the sphagnum moss that I'm going to add to this pole for today. Go back to closing it. And that's enough for it to just kind of get started until I order more. I do have some of that Better Grow, like that cheaper kind that we can find at our hardware stores, but I really stopped using that when I started using this long fiber New Zealand one. It's just, the quality is just so much better. It's hard to explain, but it's just nicer. Okay, so this pole is done. Let's move on to, let's do top offs first. Yeah, let's do top offs first. First up, we're gonna start with my Monstera Esqueleto. So you can see this was one of the original leaves, and we talked about how, like, I mean, sickly and nutrient deficient it looked. So I'm happy to report that they are getting much brighter and greener, especially these new ones here in the center. Hope that you can see that. But there are also really nice chunky roots starting to grow in the sphagnum moss. So that's really, really exciting. This one does not need to be watered, but I do need to top it off because the node you can see is like right here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of sphagnum moss onto this pole, and then this one will be good to go. I mentioned in, I think it was a video where I potted this one up, that I want to, or that I used to use Epsom salts for like when they were nutrient deficient like this with magnesium. So I want to order, I mean, I know that I can order CalMag or whatever, but I want to order some Epsom salt because that's what I've done before. I think it's cheaper, like more cost efficient, and it'll last me longer, and I know that it worked so well when I did it before. So maybe we'll do that in the next like plant chores round. Okay, this is probably all I'm going to add because I chose to do this video with like very little sphagnum moss supply. So I want to make sure that I have enough for what I'm trying to do. Okay, so this one is all set. And look at this new crunchy leaf coming. I can't remember if I did 2 or 3 vines. I think just 2. But I'm happy to see it finally start to grow. And this is a pretty nice upsize considering like the previous leaves. So this one's all set. I said we were gonna do top offs, but this one is actually pretty thirsty and it needs an extension. And I will say I have been considering it for my plant feature of the month. I think I decided I'm gonna do another plant for plant feature of the month, but I have been obsessed with this Verrucosum. Yeah, I know I said we were gonna do top offs, but let's go ahead and just do the addition. And that is on a Russo pole, which is this. Don't forget to peel these. These build super similar to the Grow Thickly. You just fold at the creases and then clasp in together. If I had, I mean, I use both the Grow Thickly and the Russo poles all the time. If I could only have one of them, I would probably choose the Russo. I think it's just a little bit more sturdy. And then my favorite one from Grow Thickly has to be the large because again, it's just a little bit sturdier than their medium. I find their mediums to be actually quite small in width. But again, I do use and love both. Okay, so here we go. Again, I build the pole without adding the moss, and I guess we're just trying something different today. I don't know. These nestle just right into each other, super easy. But I think I'm gonna try to add some moss first. So I'm not gonna go super, I'm not gonna fill the pole. I'm just gonna go like enough to cover this next node and just maybe like the node after that once that new leaf emerges. And then once I order more, I can add more sphagnum moss. I feel like this happened to me the last time I was doing like a moss pole care day, and I was like, oh, actually I don't really have any sphagnum moss, or I had very little. Okay, so these just nestle right into each other like so. And that's it. I could have even probably gotten away with a little bit less sphagnum moss on this one, but that's okay. Get rid of the caterpillars, the dry caterpillars. So there's 3 vines in this one, and I know that's probably like too many, but no regrets. Also, this is rooting very nicely into the pole. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to see it, but I'm really, really happy about that. We're going to take it in the shower, and I am going to inspect just really quickly. Oh, it has some of those EFNs. So yeah, we're going to take it in the shower, water super thoroughly. I'll add my nutrient-rich cocktail, and then we're gonna do my pest prevention. You're probably sick of hearing me saying it, but I've been using it a lot, or not a lot, but like on every plant because I'm trying to make the rounds, and I've just been super happy with it. Also just peace of mind. Okay, we'll set this aside. Up next is my Philodendron Majestic. It's growing a little crazy, and it's driving me a little crazy because I do have a light like right in front of it. So why this guy is facing out is beyond me. I have 2 vines in here. So there's 2 vines. This one is clearly like taking over the other vine. This is the size that we have. But it is driving me a little bit crazy that this leaf is facing sideways. But anyway, I also don't really see roots inside this pole. I don't know why. Well, frankly, I haven't been as good at keeping this moss moist like I have with my Verrucosum or other poles. So that's probably a big reason. I don't know why I'm acting so surprised. But yeah, okay, so we're gonna give this guy an extension. I'm also gonna add the little cup that I do with some of my other poles just to make it easier to like come through and water. And yeah, let's do the extension. So this one is on a Grow Thickly Medium 3.0. So it looks, I mean, they're all front closure, but you'll see this one's quite more narrow in the width. Okay, here it is. You can see it's just, yeah, more narrow. But it does the job, and I grew this Majestic. It was pretty tall, and I didn't feel like the vine or the roots had gotten super big, so I feel like this is a good, like this is a fine size for this. So the thing with the Grow Thicklies is that these like lock into each other with these little things, and the top of them have these little flaps. I've done it a couple times here on my channel, but let's see if you can get a better look. So these also nestle inside, and then you just, where that opening is, you just click it in, and then they lock. There we go. And I do find with the grow thicklies easier to, or for the mediums at least, to build them, add, and then add the sphagnum moss, just because maybe, I don't know how narrow they are or their width. I do try to be mindful and remove any that falls into the pot because I don't want sphagnum moss hanging out on the like substrate and holding on to any moisture there that it's not supposed to. I mean, honestly, this is probably enough. I have the last node right here. So that's enough for now. I also find that, like, if I don't need to, like, the more moss pool you have that doesn't really have a plant, but it's full of moss, then it's more moss you need to keep moist. So I would rather not. Where it does get tricky for me is for like watering. Like I can't actually add the cup now because the moss is so much lower than the pole. But I will have to figure something out. So this guy is done. I think that that's all that we're doing for top offs and maintenance on these. So I'm gonna bring those two in the shower, although my Majestic maybe doesn't need a water yet. No, I think my Majestic's okay. So we'll bring the Verrucosum in the shower, give that a thorough water through, my pest prevention, and then we will bring the last plant that we're actually adding into a pool. But I have a little bit of sphagnum moss left, so if I need it for that plant, then, you know, we can use it. While those are draining a little bit before I fertilize and add my nutrient-rich cocktail, we are going to pot this up, and this is Philodendron glorious. I have been on the search for a glorious for years, literal years. My friend Jacob finally was able to, like, he had this and I was like, I need it right away. He mentioned that he'd seen a bug on it, like I didn't ask and he didn't say, but I have been very careful with this guy. He's been living in my bathroom ever since I got him, and I just sprayed him again. I haven't seen any sign of any kind of pest or anything, and he also mentioned that he saw it like 3 weeks prior, treated, but you know, wanted to let me know. So I sprayed it again right now just because we were coming into the space with all my plants and I just wanted to be extra careful, but I haven't seen any sign of anything. It does have like EFN marks on this original leaf, but that is super common for this philodendron, lots of philodendrons, but this one in particular. But it grew this new leaf under my care, and you can see it's still like getting its color. It still has kind of that shadow from where it was furled up. But yeah, we're gonna get him into a pool because these are the nodes, and this is like, we really shouldn't wait any longer. I brought this pot, actually I just found it, I think, I don't know what centimeter, oh, it's a 5-inch. So there's no way this is a 5-inch. This says, maybe it's just size 5. So this has to be more like a 6.5 inch. This is a 5-inch, which I think will be good because this isn't like a 4-inch. And yeah, we're just gonna pot her up. So we're gonna use my DIY aeroid mix for this one. I'll probably actually mix some of its original mix with it because it's really good. The roots look nice and healthy. And this is Jacob's mix, which I believe is like cocoa core, cocoa husk, horticultural charcoal, and perlite. Maybe some orchid bark, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna mix a little bit of my mix into this. And we will just use it together. My guess is that's enough. So my mix is now tree fern base, and I say base, but I really don't use that much, versus cocoa core, just because I find that cocoa core does tend to sink like when it's dry in the bin, and I prefer the fluffiness and the texture of the tree fern, but no other reason. Okay. Oh, I forgot I needed to fill the pool, huh? Maybe I'll fill the pool with just mine since it's more chunky. This is my least favorite part of, well, no. I really don't like the sphagnum moss, but filling the pool is a close second, not favorite. It's just usually so messy. Honestly, I was surprised it hadn't gotten messier already. Okay. Oh, I did bring Maiko, I think. I did, and I remembered. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some just right directly on the roots. And I'm gonna do it right over, right over the my aroid mix, because it can't hurt, right? Less wasteful. Okay. So base. Yeah, I guess this is the back. Here we go, like that. How does this dry caterpillar keep making it into my stuff? By the way, as I was watering the two moss poles just now, One of them being my Snow Queen. I realized that I have been needing to repot that for some time. And technically, I guess I do have enough aeroid mix to do it now, but we're not gonna. So it'll just have to wait till next time. Add a little bit more moss onto that pole. I'm also going to get some grafting tape because I do find that it helps the aerial roots grab onto the moss. So let's do that. Maybe I'll just add the remainder because it's not that much. Some pieces of perlite went in there, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to grab my grafting tape, and then we are going to bring this in the shower. We'll fertilize all 3 of them, and we will finish up with my pest prevention spray. This is the grafting tape, and I'm probably just gonna do this newest, or yeah, I'm gonna do this newest node. You don't have to do this. Again, I just find that it does help with rooting, because it like locks in moisture right on the node. And that's it. Okay, meet you in the shower. All right, this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I will link anything I use down below in case you're interested. And please let me know if you have any video requests, any themes, any particular thing you want to see. I love hearing from you and being able to provide that content that you like, so just let me know. I do want to tease a little bit that I have some exciting news coming up for you in the next 2 or 3 videos, so look out for that. I've also been in the middle of like rearranging. Well, I think I'm done rearranging, but I need some final touches here in my office plant studio space, so be on the lookout for that. And just thank you so much for spending your time with me. I will see you soon. Bye.